Welcome to this episode of the Fast and Lightspeed podcast, where we discuss all our science fiction, fantasy, comics, and world-building passions.
And
Passions. Passions. I'm your captain, Kenny Lightspeed, with my executive officer, Joey. Joey, what are we talking about today? Where's my phone?
We're going to be...
You
did not prepare
No,
well.
just keep talking. Just keep talking.
We're going to be discussing Werewolves by Night. Werewolves by Night...
It's one werewolf. It's not multiple werewolves.
Is it Werewolf by Night?
It's just werewolf
Not
by
were
night.
Not werewolves.
Yeah, there's only one werewolf in this.
That's a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. It's called Werewolf by Night.
Should we get into spoilers right away?
I say we give a review straight away.
What? What? I always offer that,
I
and
think
then
we
you're
should
like,
just
no.
do. I don't know. Maybe we should start doing that
Really?
so people don't have to try to skip to the end to find the score.
No, they have to listen.
You know, but a lot of people listen to it before seeing the thing. I don't know.
That's preposterous. We can't just change the way we've been doing all this time.
We haven't been doing this for a couple months now, so.
Couple months.
I think we need a reboot. We're gonna reboot.
We're gonna rebrand. It's gonna be the slower than Warp Space podcast.
Reconstruct. So yeah, we're reviewing.
When are we going on Spotify?
This is like their Halloween special, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a holiday special with Guardians of the Galaxy this
Yeah.
December.
This December?
I thought so. I thought I saw that somewhere.
I thought it was next December.
So, I mean, overall, this is about a group of monster hunters are getting together and they're going to hunt a monster. And maybe there's more than one monster.
Oh.
Who knows? But they're trying to get this bloodstone that has kind of undescript powers. It's just kind of a monster hunting artifact or something that they don't get super into. That looks like, I don't know, maybe it's the reality stone.
I kind of thought of that.
It's not, though.
It's red, though.
It's definitely not that, though. And it's all in black and white. We're in Charlie Chaplin
All
movie. What?
How did you like the black and white?
I thought it fit the ambient. I feel like it fit the atmosphere they were going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, remember in Thor 4, they were like making jokes about how it's like, it's the black and white world.
Okay. I don't remember the joke about it.
There's some Korg, I think, made some sort of joke.
Okay.
It kind of made me feel like, oh, no.
What was that planet? I don't even remember what that was.
We both gave it ones.
I don't remember.
I would still give it a 1. But it's such a forgettable movie.
I want to rewatch Multiverse of Madness.
That would be a good horror movie.
We've been talking about
season.
that. They have that. What was it? Marvel's making their own, like, tabletop RPG, their own like D&D system.
Oh, we just jumped into the news.
We're just gonna talk about stuff. And making
The
that,
structure's
which
gone.
made me want to rewatch Multiverse of Madness, get ideas for if I would make a game in there, in that system. Yeah.
Are we gonna have a casting Andor / Black Panther 2 episode?
If you're around, maybe.
For like
Otherwise, I'm gonna do a captain's log
Oh.
on it. Maybe we'll have a...
People don't listen to the podcast for your thoughts. They wait for my hot takes.
No.
My hot takes.
I don't know
Experiment
about
2 is
that.
a great movie. I've been saying that since
Not sure about that.
2012.
Not sure about that. So, Werewolf by Night. We get... It's... How long is it? I think it's
about an
listed on Disney Plus as 58 minutes.
I think that's correct.
So it's fairly short. It's like... I was hoping... I feel like it could have been a bit longer. In all honesty.
You probably could have.
I think they could have fit more in. I think they could have elaborated a bit more.
I think all we would have gotten was more exposition.
Well, I just think I don't know. My big problem with it is that the enemies don't feel dangerous, like, in any way.
You're talking about the hunters.
They all get dispatched. Well, now are we getting the spoilers? What are you talking about?
Just go on.
Ugh. All the enemies get dispatched pretty easily, and I feel they could have had some sort of example of, oh, they are dangerous, but they don't have any. It's just kind of like, okay, they just kind of have their looks, and then they get killed off, like, all pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
That was my issue with it, which made it feel like there wasn't really any danger throughout the whole thing. That was my big problem with it. But overall, I think the story and stuff was kind of cool, and the effects were cool.
Yeah, I felt like the effects were like kind of very cheap.
Well, I think it was meant to. It was all an homage to probably, to a bit more historical monster movies. Obviously,
yeah.
That's all. Down to the animatronic man in the coffin. That was obviously like a homage to effects like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the sets, I don't think, were supposed to be huge. It's also a special.
Yeah, they didn't need big sets, really.
I think it was good how it was. That was just my issue, was that. How did you think about the werewolf design?
It looked good.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It looked a lot.
Why are we? You gotta talk more. This is a podcast. It's audio form.
It was like, I liked how they kept this human. They didn't just put on like a full set. Like they put like makeup on a person rather than just.
Right. They didn't do
CGI.
Right. They didn't do CGI. It was totally practical.
Which I love. If they would have just done CGI, I would have like shrugged my shoulders a bit. And it was like, that's not a man. That's just a dog.
Okay. Because, they went more Wolfman rather than, what would you say, like Twilight lycanthropes or...
Yeah.
What was it? Is it Resident Evil? No. Some other vampire franchise. That's not Twilight. What is that?
My babysitter's a vampire?
No. I don't remember what it was. But it's huge. It's got a lot of things. It's got a lot of movies in that one.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
No. It's like Resident Evil, but it's not. It's like vampires or something.
Vampire?
What did you feel about
Biohazard?
What else? There's not really a lot to talk about with it, though, is there? So what was it? They show up and their leader's dead. I like the idea that there's just because at the start they pretty much show like a picture of. They pretty much are alluding that this is in the MCU. Obviously, they show. They might as well say that. It's like, this is the world where those heroes and stuff, but in the darkness, that's where monsters are. And these are the guys that hunt the monsters. It's funny to think that in that same world where there are aliens have been coming from outer space attacking, there's also just been this little group of monster hunters out there. Like, we'll hunt some werewolves and swamp things and stuff.
It's crazy that Marvel just keeps on adding all this stuff. And these people have always been here.
These guys have always been around.
These hunters have always been here. The Eternals, they've always been here.
The wizard, there's always been sorcerers too.
Yeah. Shang-Chi's dad, he's always been here too.
Yeah. I like how these guys have probably existed for for a long time.
A good couple hundred at least.
A few hundred years, yeah. And now we're getting to see them. And now most of them are dead.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there are many monster hunters.
Probably not. It's just probably a club. That's what it sounds like, They're just
a little club.
A club, and their leader just passed away, so yeah. and they weren't very good at their jobs.
We don't know where these monsters really came from. Did they always just live here?
They're just probably curses and magic and stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah, probably.
'Cause there's magic in this world.
Yeah, there is.
So obviously curses probably exist, so that's where werewolves would come from.
Mm-hmm.
Just all that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like there isn't, you know, it's not like this is Age of Ultron MCU where it's like, you know, there's not really magic. Scarlet Witch's powers aren't magic. There's some blah, 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 techno-babble stuff that Maria Hill's going on about. This is where we've literally met a witch coven who killed the rest of her coven of witches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's magic. Like, there's literal witches in this world. So I don't think you have to worry about the origin of these monsters anymore.
You got me there.
Okay. It's like, oh, where'd these monsters come from? It's not like Morbius where like, it's probably some weird science experiment or whatever. I didn't see that movie.
We should have reviewed it for the podcast.
No, we shouldn't have.
When they re-released it in theaters, we should have gone.
So it's not anything weird like that. It's just, yeah, there's magic in this world. So obviously there could be curses and monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So what were all the monsters that we saw there? Because there were obviously some sort of vampire that looked like it was pulled straight out of the Dawn Guard DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was like Sasquatch in there too. Sasquatch and maybe Yetis.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
What else was there? I feel like there was probably more. Like, just can't remember. But those were the ones that stuck out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, cool. Because what was it? Jack, whoever the werewolf, said that he...
Whoa!
Jack the werewolf.
Whoa!
Nobody, if you haven't watched it, just don't be listening to this.
You
just
don't let it slip.
Just don't even be listening to this.
Sorry, audio listeners, that was loud.
The werewolf said that he fought that vampire head a few times, right?
He looked more alive last time.
Right. Well.
And that's because werewolves don't like vampires usually.
Probably, right? Is that it? Because, what was that? At some point they said they go around to all the hunters and say how many kills they have, and they say he has like around 100 kills, which doesn't sound... Which later in the story, it sounds like he's a bit of a pacifist and he's trying to save the monsters from these hunters. And he's almost organizing like some underground railroad for monsters or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's most likely, no, those monsters are...
Probably too evil.
Or no, those monsters are even... At least that those monsters aren't dead, that he didn't kill out all those. But maybe some of them he did fight, like, in his werewolf form. Because it made it sound like he doesn't have control in his wolf form.
I think what it is that Jack, he is a monster hunter, but he kind of uses his werewolf abilities to kind of hunt them down, and also he doesn't kill every monster because some monsters are good.
Nah, I think it's just I don't agree with that.
Oh, you don't?
I just think that at some points probably like he tried to like save some, but maybe they turned on him. Like a vampire. It's like, you're a werewolf. I'm not trusting you. I'm a Dracula. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm betting. And so he fought, had to fight. He had to fight them, but that's why he never killed probably any.
Okay.
Who knows? That's my theory. Of course, they don't really get into that at all. They kind of skim over a lot of stuff in here.
Do you think Kevin Feige's gonna go make a tweet about it and just...
What did you think of the Elsa character?
I thought she was likable.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember the last new girl character I really liked in the MCU.
Wow.
Is that a hot take?
No, that sounds sexist.
I just don't think they've had many interesting ones. I didn't like what's her name from
Wow.
Shang-Chi. It's not sexist. No, it's not. It's the writer's fault.
Wow.
You're freaking out. Oh, you know what girl I liked? I liked the girl from Moon Knight.
And like Kate Bishop either?
Oh, I like Kate Bishop.
Like what?
That was like a year ago though.
Then like...
I like the girl from Moon Knight.
What about America Chavez?
No. We talked about that on the podcast. I thought she was awful.
Wow.
Worst part of the movie.
Okay.
And I don't think they introduced any new characters besides Gore in Thor 4 that were really good.
Okay. Not the, what was it, the Child of Eternity?
We haven't really, we heard her probably say 5 words max.
I don't want to put on my boots.
Yeah, something like that.
I didn't care for Elsa all that. She seemed just kind of vague, but it's also, this is a special, so they can't get too deep into all the characters. Just that, okay, they don't explain, like, why she didn't want whatever legacy. That's part of what I think they could have made this longer. Just to explain the character motivations even a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say why she left her father in the club and all that. And what she was, I don't even necessarily need an explanation of what she was doing. But she made it sound like she did continue some form of training. And she was doing a bunch of Black Widow moves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, what?
Who do you think that villain girl was? The old woman.
That was her, like, stepmother.
Oh, stepmother.
Yeah, that was stepmother. Elsa says that in there. Stepmother.
Yeah.
So her mom was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was her stepmother who hates her guts.
It seemed that way.
Hates her guts. So they do explain that, and I was able to infer that a little bit. Like, there's no way this is her mom because she hates her way too much for any of that.
Well, she was like, "You're too much like your mother," and I think he's like, "Aren't you?" Eventually, I'm like,
No.
"Wait, aren't you?"
Also, that I'm
mother?
like, no. It's like, oh, this isn't her mom. Okay. I liked this. Was he Scottish?
Who, Jack?
The one with the beard, that Monster Hunter. And he had like,
I know who you're talking about.
he had like a ring on his nose.
Mm-hmm. I know who you're talking about.
He was fun for a bit when he was talking with Jack and stuff, but again, he barely does anything before getting,
I like
getting killed.
I like that the party he was like shaking hands, like, "Oh, my name is this. This is how many hunts," and he's like super friendly. But the minute that the hunt starts, he's like, "I'll kill you!
I'll chop off your arm! Oh, I'm getting disintegrated!" Ah.
I was thinking,
Not sure how a swamp monster disintegrates people by touching them. That was like, okay.
he's a fire type.
But he's a swamp. Yeah, he's a swamp monster. Doesn't make sense.
He wasn't in color. They could have just turned into smoke. We don't really know. We didn't see flames.
They just got even if it was acid based, it's kind of lame. They just didn't want to do any action sequences with that monster. They just wanted people to get touched by it and I'm dead.
Yeah.
Which whatever. So that was a interesting monster design. He was like a Cthulhu swamp monster.
Yeah, I thought he was fun.
His name was Ted. Yep.
Going back to the cutting on the arm thing that you mentioned,
Oh.
I was totally thinking, he's like, cut off his arm.
And she did
But
it.
when she did it, I was like, oh!
That character, the character she cut off the arm of and shot in the face with the crossbow, looked like one of the characters from Inhumans. Or was it? Or am I? It was either one of the characters from Inhumans, or one from the third X-Men movie.
Oh, Spike Man?
Right, with the like little porcupine spikes.
Just because they shoot spikes, that doesn't mean that they're the same person.
No, it was something with the face tattoo or paint or whatever that person had. That reminded me of that. It was either that guy or it was the guy that can see a bit into the future in Inhumans, but still falls off a mountain or something, right?
Mm-hmm. You're thinking about
Both of those guys looked like that guy then. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say no.
No?
No, I disagree.
Weird.
Look like just a new character.
Weird.
This guy had face tattoos or whatever he had.
Okay. As soon as Jack said that his face paint or whatever was meant to honor his ancestors, I'm like, this guy's a werewolf.
I don't know what that's supposed to be.
This guy's a werewolf.
I don't even know what that's really supposed to mean.
It's just that probably his ancestors were all hunted and killed by monster hunters.
Oh.
And they were werewolves. So he's honoring his werewolf ancestors.
It's like, I'm human. We're not a human. What is that supposed to mean? Is he human?
He's half wolf. A werewolf. A man-wolf. That's what werewolf is.
Yeah.
You're a human that turns into a wolf, but you're still a human. But not as much human as maybe Elsa would be.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is in modern day, though, right?
Yeah.
We think, yeah.
Whatever modern day is in Marvel.
Is it post-blip?
Yeah, it probably is.
Who knows?
Especially before Iron Man 1.
Wow, I don't think that's true.
No, they made jokes. The intro would have done that one. It's actually after Avengers 1. Before Iron Man
Winter
3.
Soldier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. What else can we talk about with it? Would you want a continuation of this, like part 2 next year?
I don't know what they could do.
Just do, maybe there are more monster hunters coming after him. The last of the monster hunters.
If they can think of
and
a good
these
story,
are actually
yeah.
competent monster hunters.
Oh.
Instead of ones that literally don't...
a blade.
Don't do anything. Do a blade? That'd be interesting.
Isn't Blade vampire? Like he's like
I think Blade,
third?
he's something like that. He's like part vampire hunter.
Yeah.
Something weird like that. I don't know much of anything about Blade.
Me neither.
So.
What if we watched the old Blade movies as
don't really want to watch those, to be honest.
Podcast.
Don't really want to. Not crazy about Wesley Snipes or whoever it is that played them.
Okay.
We talked about the monsters. We talked about the villains. We talked about the heroes.
You know what this reminded me of? Those old Marvel one-shots.
Yeah.
But just a really long one.
Like those, it's like about the length of, an actual TV show episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I liked. I would like more stuff in the style of this, more just one-off specials like that.
I welcome these.
You know, especially if they're done creatively and have, I like the mini-movie idea.
Yeah. As long as they're worth telling, I'd watch every single one.
Do Werewolf Captain America next year.
Oh. That's a thing, right?
That's a thing in the comics, yeah.
Maybe.
Probably not gonna do that.
Maybe they'll do it as a what if. They already did Captain America as a zombie.
Yeah, they did do that. Yeah.
I think we're gonna get a Werewolf by Night what if episode.
Oh, what do you mean?
What if Ted was actually named Fred and
Lame.
Jack wasn't a werewolf or something?
Lame. No, we're not getting that.
Hey, it's better than every other what if episode that released.
These guys will probably be... This will probably be somewhat in its own space for a long time. You know, they're in the darkness of the Marvel Universe. They're not gonna show themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll show up in the Blade something. Maybe there'll be a reference in the Blade movie.
I think so. Maybe they'll mention the Bloodstone or something.
Maybe the Bloodstone, yeah. Sounds like the Bloodstone's kind of powerful, but still not really sure what it does. It sounds like it's kind of nondescript MacGuffin.
Like, I want the Bloodstone.
And I was like, oh, what does it do? He's like, anything.
Dude, it zaps. It turns people in...
It can zap monsters. It can turn a monster into a wolf man.
It can turn a monster into an even scarier monster.
If you put it on a monster, it hurts them maybe, but the monster can still disintegrate you with a single touch.
And it makes them more angry.
So...
It seems like it only helps monsters.
I don't know. It's just weird.
Also, because Blade is part vampire, if he touches...
I don't even know why. Why did Elsa want the Bloodstone?
She wanted to be in charge.
Why? No, because she said she wanted to get away from the club, I thought. Didn't she?
I think she still wants to be a monster hunter.
I don't think she did. I thought she wanted to get away from her family's legacy, but why would she even show up?
She wants that stone.
But why did she want the stone? For what purpose? She could just not hunt monsters for the rest of her life. It sounded like she hadn't been doing that anyways.
What else is she supposed to do, King? She didn't go to college for English. She went to college for hunt monsters.
No, she went to school to do Black Widow kickflips or whatever.
That's right.
That's what she did.
When she flipped that big guy, I'm like, whoa.
I'm like, oh, that's another Black Widow move we're doing. Okay. Doing Black Widow moves again.
It's like, how'd you learn that move? Because you can't probably do that with a whole lot of monsters.
Was she a Black Widow, do we think? She got let loose before Civil War? Or
No,
was it
that
after
would
Civil
suck.
War?
No, she just was raised a
I
monster.
don't think that's true either. I'm just saying that's like a classic move that we've seen Black Widow do about 1,700 times.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did you ever look at the Thunderbolts cast that they released?
I don't think I've seen like images, like concept images. I don't think I read anything though.
It looks. I don't buy it.
What do you mean?
I don't buy it.
What do you mean?
I don't buy it. They released like, this is who will make up the Thunderbolts, and I'm looked at it. I'm like, this list does not make any sense. There's no way this is what Marvel's doing.
Who is it all? What do you mean?
It's like Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Taskmaster.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Yelena.
Okay, that makes sense.
Bucky.
Okay,
Red Guardian.
that'd be cool.
Taskmaster.
You said that. You said that
Did I?
already. Yeah. Two Taskmasters.
Two Taskmasters. one who is whatever adopted daughter that blew up, and one of them, which is a guy, and fights Spider-Man in Spider-Man PS4.
Okay.
I don't know. Who else?
U.S. agent, I'd imagine.
Yes. Stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
That doesn't work for me.
Why? Why not?
Because U.S. agent isn't just gonna like, hey, you know what, Bucky, I like you now. Another way, and vice versa. There's no way.
I don't know.
There's no way Yelena is
It
just
could
gonna
be
get...
Bucky's doing it not exactly at his own desire. He's kind of being forced into a position to do it.
No.
That would be my bet.
Then you have Yelena working with Taskmaster. Maybe.
Okay. I don't
Probably
worry about
not,
that.
though.
I'm not worrying about that. That sounds legit.
Or Red Guardian. They kind of beat each other up with Taskmaster.
That was when she was under mind control or something, though.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe. Bucky and U.S. agent working together. That was like the, no way.
I think that's like a... Because it sounds like it's like the Suicide Squad almost, right?
That's what I think they're trying to do, maybe.
It's almost like that, but not quite. Why are they the Thunderbolts? Because Thunderbolt it could be passed away.
Yeah.
I want a Red Hulk. That's what I want. I still want Red Hulk.
Kenny, he's dead.
You could have a son or something, though.
Oh, yeah.
Or a nephew. They could do any sort of relation.
Or there's a sister. And even though the actor passed away in real life, the sister puts on the suit and is like, I am the new Black Panther. I mean, Thunderbolt Ross.
Mm. They had some trailers for... So what's your score for Werewolf by Night?
We're talking about this again.
What's your score for Werewolf by Night? Before we get too off track.
I want you to put your score first.
No, you have to do it first. That's the rules.
That's the rules.
That is the law of this ship. Of this starship. Okay.
I give it a 1. I think it's probably one of the best new Marvel things that I've seen in a while.
Okay.
Last one probably this good was probably Multiverse.
I'd say it's better than... I don't know. It was fun. If you're just looking for something to watch around Halloween, watch it, so I'll give it a 1.
Maybe if you don't care about Halloween.
If you're in the mood for just a fun little werewolf flick, you don't want to even spend too much time watching a full movie, you just want short.
You got your dinner in front of you.
You want to waste an hour.
Waste an hour.
Just, consume an hour of your time and you want to watch something kind of monster themed. Watch this special on Disney Plus. yeah, so that's our Werewolf by Night review. What'd you think of that Black Panther 2 trailer? So it's definitely Shuri in the suit, right?
Yeah.
I was hoping they would bring back Killmonger.
I thought about that too, but like that'd be weird because you can't just have the villain in the last movie come back to life and it's like, I'm the new hero.
Why not?
now.
They could have done anything. They had a cure for not necessarily even death, but for paralyzation for Martin Freeman, right? So,
oh yeah,
because he was shot in the spine or whatever, and they put those metal balls in his back and saved him. So they could have froze him. You know, they could have froze him or whatever. Yeah. That'll be that's if I was doing it. You know, and he could be considered a rightful heir to the throne.
Yeah, he would be.
Because he was related, obviously.
Yeah.
They were cousins, so.
But I don't know. I think if you don't give it to Shuri, they'd be making a mistake.
I disagree, but whatever. Because in the past, it hasn't seemed like Shuri really was up for it.
No. And they even made a joke about, like, I'll take the throne from you, brother. And everybody laughed.
Ha 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 ha! You're not interested at all. There's no way. But maybe we'll see her rise to the challenge. I'd be interested in seeing that, and if they make that worth it.
I thought maybe they'll get Mabuka or whatever his name is.
M'Baku.
Yeah, M'Baku.
I don't know if he would fit for it, because he's isn't he? He's a part of the anti-technology tribe or whatever.
I think so.
So it wouldn't make sense for him. Was there some other trailer or something that came out this week? I feel like there was. No, I think so. What was it? Next week is the finale of Rings of Power, so I'm gonna review that. You haven't even watched a single episode of that show.
No.
Which I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. You as a fan of the Shadows of Mordor games, I think you'll like it. Because it just means that you don't care as much. You don't find the canon as final.
It's just different interpretations
as the final
of it.
line. Sure, okay, yeah. I'm just saying that, yeah. I think a lot of people that don't like the show are ones that it has to be, it has to align with canon and stuff, right?
But I just don't like how it says Lord of the Rings of Power.
Who cares?
Awful name. Awful name of the show. Rename it, rebrand it.
So, I think next weekend I'm going to try to do a solo review. Well, I'll start doing Captain's Logs. Oh yeah, we've been watching Andor. Because how many is it? 4 episodes are out now?
Yes.
What are our thoughts on that?
What?
I think the two...
What?
We'll just give brief... what are your first impressions on that? I think the first 2 episodes were a bit too slow. The next 2... were okay. Had some cool stuff. This last one, waste of time.
I think they've all been excellent.
Waste of time.
I think they've
5 episodes. I think it's been 5 episodes, right? Because it was 3 premiere, then there's been 2 weeklies, right?
I think they've all been excellent.
I think this last one was a waste of time. Just nothing happened. It's just characters talking and going over, barely the plan.
I think with a show like Obi-Wan, they didn't really need to prove that it was worth our time to watch it because we would just watch it regardless. This show, I feel like it proved its existence. I
don't think it has. I think it's been all right, let's go at a snail's pace. Let's do everything at a snail's pace. Let's watch some characters sleep real fast.
I think this movie is
this
cinematic 12-episode movie is really
it's
really
been going
good.
Too slow, in my opinion.
It
needs to speed up. It better kick off next episod. Better kick off, which it might, but it's got to kick off.
I think they said that it's 4 3-part episodes.
Huh?
I think that's what they said.
I don't know what that means.
Or just kind of think of each.
Swallow
I'm
your
burping.
spit. You're like, I can like hearing you choking on your own shit.
Welcome to
Like,
the audio
oh
podcast.
my
Are just
God.
like choking sounds. Every 3 episodes is like 1 episode.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. What you just said, they're stretching out these stories across 3 episodes at a snail's pace, dude.
I think it's working.
Do you
well.
realize what you just said? Every 3 episodes has about the content of 1 episode.
Stop.
I think when you said that, you realized this. Okay, maybe I'm proving Kenny's
I should
point.
just choke myself to death.
Dude. Do you realize now what I'm saying?
I think it's working though.
I don't think so. It's got to speed up.
What's his name? It's like,
got to really
my
speed up.
brother, he tied his bootstraps to a cannon and then dropped himself into the
You're
bottom.
thinking of Pirates of the Caribbean. So, yeah, they don't need to take an entire episode to lead to that.
But like, I think, look, everything's gonna kick off next episode, and it's gonna be worth it. It's building up that suspense. You see the tension building among the team. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It just was way too slow.
We're seeing the TIE fighters.
And also some things, like, I feel like I'm missing parts of things. Like just how certain scenes play out, like how these conversations are going. It feels like I don't understand what people are talking about. Like down to, there was one conversation with Mon Mothma and her daughter. And Mothma's just like, we have to go. And it's like, where do they even have to go?
planning to
Like,
tell
what are
you
they
this.
talking about? And I guess it was just to take her daughter to school, but they don't even make that really clear. That it was just taking her daughter to school. Somehow I was confused about that when that shouldn't be confusing.
I think this is your problem. Not just with movies, but also video games as well. You just don't like talking.
No,
Your
I'm just
attention
saying
span-
that there
your
needs to
attention
be a
span-
good, I need a faster pace. I don't want 5 hours of, let's talk about the plan for about, the full 45 minutes. Let's just go over this plan and talk about how we're going to march. I don't need that, You can show that. You don't need to spend you don't even have to spend 7 minutes on that. You can show that in like the background of some other scene that's a bit more important. That's what I'm saying. I don't like to dwell on things.
You don't like to hear people talk.
I don't like to dwell on things.
You need subtitles on.
No, what?
You need subtitles on. You have to read the text.
I do subtitles so I know what they're saying. Especially in a world where there can be made up words.
Uncle Arlo has.
And it helps me understand what the names are.
We have to call in that favor. That got into a terrible impression.
Yeah. You're just really going hard in on the stereotypes today.
Oh my gosh! Stop! What is that supposed to mean?
You're doing
My old lady stereotype.
I think that's some other stereotype.
What do you mean, Carn?
I think it's some type of. It might be some ethnicity. I don't know.
You think so?
I don't know. Do a trade federation guy next.
What's a trade federation? What is
Trade
that?
like Newt Gunray type.
Oh,
It's a Japanese accent.
is it
Just
actually?
Yeah.
I never thought about it.
That was a
way.
big thing. Like people totally thought it was a racist Japanese accent.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Now
they
that
don't
you're
do that
saying
in the
it-
same Clone Wars. In the Clone Wars, it's definitely a different accent.
Oh, really?
And yeah, right, yeah. But in those movies,
I can hear it.
that's the thing.
I can hear why people say that. But it doesn't make sense in.
People also thought Jar Jar Binks could have been, and that Watto especially was like a Jewish stereotype or something.
I've heard that.
Yeah. But the Trade Federation was like one of the big ones.
I don't understand why people would say that for Jar Jar. I've just heard that before. Let's just cut all this out. Let's just
cut out all of this.
Let's just cut out all of this. Starting with
Joey's worried about getting canceled. We're about getting canceled over here. Oh wow!
This is just call this the awful episode. We're the Werewolves by Night.
Werewolves by Night. So yeah, next week I might try to do a captain's log on the Rings of Power.
And then after that, then we're gonna be reviewing Black Adam, maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe. Depends on if I wait for you or not. Black Adam, eventually Black Panther will be out. We'll have some content for that.
We're getting content finally. What's a good video game that we could possibly review? We haven't reviewed a video game yet.
Well, Modern Warfare will be out soon. Maybe I'll do a short review of the campaign, because the campaign will be out early. That's in 2 weeks. It's on the 21st. This was on the 9th.
I wish we were.
So it'll be not this coming Friday, but the next Friday will be the campaign for Modern Warfare 2, which I'm excited for. I liked the 2019 version of the campaign. That's like one of my favorite single-player campaigns.
I wish we went over Halo Infinite as a year review.
Well, I don't know.
I think we kind of would have done it pretty late. We would have done it after Christmas.
Right.
So that would the campaign would have been out for like 3 weeks.
Right.
I think people were still talking about the game at that point, right?
I don't know. People were talking about how there's no content in the game.
People weren't talking about that yet.
I think so.
No.
Or that there was no social features.
People were complaining about the like progression systems, like
yeah,
just all through daily challenges, like some mobile.
Yeah, that's true.
That's still gross. That's the worst part of the game.
I don't want to get into Halo Infinite right now. I'm just trying to avoid the depression around that game.
Not anymore right now.
I just want Call of Duty to be out so I can grind that. Do you have anything else you want to say?
We're sorry.
Otherwise, we can outro. You're sorry?
No.
Wow.
Just cut out most of this episode. This is definitely one that you have to bleep 8 different things.
All right. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fast and Lightspeed podcast. Check us out on our social stuff. And check us out on our website, fastandlightspeed.com, to listen to more episodes. This has been your Captain Kenny with my executive officer, Joey. And this has been the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast.